A very good evening. You tuned into UBC TV. Welcome to our news tonight. This Sunday, the 20th of June, 2021. We'll start with a look at the top stories. Government to give relief cash to the vulnerable Ugandans. Religious leaders want to be considered as essential workers. Lockdown leaves passenger vehicles superfluous. As Ugandan Olympic tests positive to COVID-19 in Japan. Once again, it's me, Micheal, Lukomwa. Muhammad Mugalu, the man on sign language, joins us for tonight's bulletin. Office of the Prime Minister has created committees that will oversee the enforcement of the numerous lockdown guidelines recently issued by His Excellency the President. Prime Minister Robina Nabanja says the National COVID Task Force has also resolved to avail financial support to the persons most affected by the lockdown measures. We have details in this report.
The National COVID Task Force, chaired by the Prime Minister, Honorable Robina Nabanja, has created committees that will oversee adherence of lockdown measures issued recently.
The lockdown that we are undergoing right now is not a punishment. It's a last resort. We are struggling to survive as a country. And therefore, as the chair of this committee and the Prime Minister of Uganda, we have come up.
The task force sitting at the office of the Prime Minister in Kampala also approved the National COVID Relief Plan. The Prime Minister, Honorable Robina Nabanja, says government will offer financial support to the vulnerable groups greatly affected by the lockdown measures.
We have agreed to have direct payment method and the voucher system used for providing assistance to the vulnerable persons. This time, we shall not give food. We are saying people have phones, we shall use mobile money. Those who don't have mobile money, those who don't have phones, we shall use the voucher system.
She adds that funds have also been set aside to facilitate the frontline workers in the fight against the pandemic.
We directed the Minister of Health to utilize the 7 billion that has been earmarked by the Ministry of Finance, so that we can pay allowances for those health workers on the front line, so that we already had their allowances payment pending. There are those who have not been paid since January because of lack of money.
Ministry of Works and Transport has also been tasked to come up with special permits that will ease movement of essential workers.
And permissions issued in the first lockdown in 2020 are hereby revoked. There are those stickers that we used to have in 2020. So the police officers and all other security agencies, if you see somebody with the stickers of 2020, those are now void. Ministry of Works and Transport has been tasked to go ahead and develop an online application for movement permits. The details of this application and its operations are provided by the Ministry of Works.
Samuel Senono, UBC News.
The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, has asked those in charge to also include religious leaders among the category of essential workers. Dr. Kazimba also says that he also appeals to the country to maintain their spirituality in spite of the COVID-19 pandemic situation. This was during a Sunday service held at his residence at Namirembe Hill.
The Archbishop of Church of Uganda, Dr. Samuel Stephen Kazimba Mugalu, wants government to consider religious leaders as essential workers.
People like us, we need, myself, I may be allowed How about him? How about him? We are essential service providers. While other people are allowed to go in the market to sell the tomatoes, to sell the cabbages, the spiritual leaders should be allowed to go and minister to people. Yes. Where is the hope? People have no hope. They are killing themselves. And let us work together, the police, the people, let us listen to one another, let us talk to one another. Don't just find somebody walking and begin beating over. No, let's hear one another.
Kazimba also wants government to pay attention to the well-being of doctors and nurses who are on the front line of fighting COVID-19 so that they don't lose their lives in the process of saving others.
Abasawo nabo COVID abakwatira eri abamu abali ku bitanda bateekebwe engeri y'enjawulo kuba abali ku buweereza bwe butyo babeerewo engeri y'enjawulo omusawo aba alwadde akolebwako atya aleme kubeera mu bali bonna abalala kubanga abasawo bajja kutya okussa omwoyo ku balwadde nga bagamba naffe tulwala teri atufaako.
In the same instance, Church of Uganda has declared 3 days of praying and fasting for the situation pertaining in the country to normalize.
We declare these days for prayer, yes, for fasting, for seeking God's will. Yes. You can pray. This is the time you can use chain prayers. Yes. Like having the whole 24 hours, 30 minutes for Reverend Simon, like 30 minutes and then 30 minutes for Stephen Kaza, 30 minutes for Captain Titan, 30 minutes for everybody. You can have 30 minutes about 20 people, 50 people pray.
Archbishop Kazimba also sent warm greetings to the all men making Father's Day.
This is the time for the fathers to offer leadership in our homes, to give guidance, to have your children, to talk to them, not just to fight them or beat them, guide them. This is the time. It has a challenge, but the advantage is to be with your family and talk to your children. This is the time.
Kazimba was delivering his homily to a few members of the church and the family at his residence located at Namirembe Hill in Kampala. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
The Bishop of Namirembe Diocese, that's the Right Reverend Wilbur Chitolwalira, has cautioned Ugandans against flouting COVID-19 guidelines, saying that COVID is real. This was contained in his sermon to a few people at St. Paul's Cathedral, Namirembe, with strict observance of standard operating procedures against the COVID-19 pandemic.
Fenna abantu abatwala omutawaana okulowooza ku mbeera osanga nga waliwo ebimu ebireeta okusoberwa. Tewali akyagala mu ngeri oba oli awo gye kiba kikoleddwamu. Ffenna tulinga abaakwatibwa mu kyambika ng'ekirwadde kizze, ekirwadde ekitataliza, ekirwadde ekitakuwa nnyo budde kulowooza nnyo kugenda wala. Abakulembeze bavunaanyizibwa ffe be bakulembera.
Uganda has since March last year registered some deaths occurring from COVID-19 infection. Although President Museveni announced a total lockdown aiming at reducing the spread of COVID-19, some Ugandans have continued to flout the standard operating procedures.
Ono agamba ngenda kunoonya kyakulya. Bw'anaakifuna ate nadda nakyo ng'emmere agirina n'obulwadde abulina nga gy'alya ate enkeera afe. Kale nno embeera yo yakusoberwa, naye tusabe Katonda awa abakulembeze baffe amagezi naffe ffenna abatwalibwa, kubanga ekiriwo nti tutaasa abantu abatannaba kukwatibwa baleme kukwatibwa, n'abo abakwatibwa bajjanjabibwe. Katonda atusaasire.
The Bishop of Namirembe Diocese, Right Reverend Wilbur Chitolwalira, now wants all Ugandans who have failed to adhere to the President and Minister of Health guidelines on COVID-19 to stay up because the pandemic is real.
Abakulembeze bavunaanyizibwa ffe be bakulembera, era kiba kya nnaku nnyo okubeera nti tokoze kwekyosuubirwa kukola, oba nze omulabirizi oba omusumba oba omubuulizi oba abakulembeze levels endala zonna. Bwe ndeka abantu ne bagenda ne basaasaana nga bwe basaasaana, okufa okwo tekulibalirwa ku nze.
Bishop Luwalira commends Minister of Health and medics who have tirelessly committed themselves to render services to Ugandans in such trying moments of COVID-19.
N'olwekyo twagala okusaba Katonda olwa health system yaffe mu ggwanga, abalala nga balabanga enafu, naye ffe tusabe nga tukkiriza Katonda titejja kunafuwa, abantu bajja kukolebwako bajjanjabwe era Katonda tusaasire bawonyezebwe.
Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Maimuna Chamulabi and her daughter are living in fear after being evicted and later attacked by unknown assailants. The attack came at a time when State House Anti-Corruption Unit Commander Kano Edith Nakalema is trying to solve the 97-year-old's eviction by her own children.
A 97-year-old lady of Buwambo Trading Center in Wakiso district was recently evicted by her own children. Maimuna Chamulabi, a landlady and a resident of Buwambo, was evicted and left homeless after her own biological children connived with the land grabbers and sold her property. This prompting her to seek for protection of the head of State House Anti-Corruption Unit. State House Anti-Corruption Unity's Kano Edith Nakalema promised to deal with all those behind the old lady's eviction, which led her into hiding to save her life.
Police egenda kuba charging emisango ndoza bwembanze nandibatedeko nugo obutemu okukwata omuntu ngono eyakuzaala nakukuza nakulabirira nemusosiyete tekikirizibwa naffe fenna kati tuli baana be.
However, last Friday, State House Anti-Corruption Unit arrested Musoke Muhammad, Geoffrey Kaizi Chizito, and Amina Zawede, Maimuna's biological daughter, on account of evicting her and selling her land and property. Unfortunately, in the wee hours of Saturday, malicious people attacked Maimuna's house in Bataka village in Nabingo, where she had been hiding since her eviction. Maimuna is now weak and tired and is on medication from her caretaker and daughter Mastula Nachibule.
Mama baba no bagize bakuye ejiruli kula atutunguja ningama batuzinze misana bukyali buno udde abantu bebasedda.
Nachibule says they were only saved when their neighbor attached to security fired bullets that scared away the attackers.
Nzokulaba nga ndaba ekitangalo ekyamaanyi nnyo. Tumenalabye ekitangalo ennyo mama ne mugamba bannange mama wano babomoddewo waliwo ekintu waliwo abantu abakubye wano ekituli kati ng'omuntu adda ati.
She however alleges that her family is likely to be behind the attack. Maimuna and Nachibule now want Kano Nakalema and President Yoweri Museveni to give them protection from those determined to harm them. State House Anti-Corruption Unit and police personnel have confirmed making a follow-up on the attack of the old lady. Ivan Juko, UBC News.
Ministry of Health Assistant Commissioner Vaccines and Immunization Dr. Alfred Druali has addressed Ugandans on key issues, especially in regards to COVID-19. Dr. Druali and his cohorts in the medical profession are dismayed by the misinformation that is curtailing the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
Ministry of Health has allayed fears of Ugandans about misinformation that is derailing the COVID-19 fight. The ministry has indeed started educating the public about issues like the vaccine, which despite not being 100% efficient, is a remedy especially after the 2 doses.
COVID-19 vaccines take about 2 weeks to be effective in a person. This means anyone who got infected maybe 1 week before vaccination is not protected and he can still develop COVID disease because the body is not ready. The body has not generated the immune response to protect him. The same is also true if you get vaccinated today and you get infected maybe tomorrow. Your body cannot contain that infection the same way someone who has been vaccinated long ago, because the body is not prepared to deal with this new infection. Number 2, COVID-19 vaccine, especially AstraZeneca, gives you better protection when there are 2 doses. So when you give the first dose, it gives you about 50% protection. So what it means is that 1 dose cannot protect you fully. So because you are not fully protected, you can still get infected, you can still progress to severe disease, you can still die. So the observation that the people who are being vaccinated have developed severe disease and death is not enough to say the vaccines do not have impact. They do.
The other area that has perturbed the public is the testing versus vaccination issue.
And our position, and indeed the global guidance for COVID-19 vaccination is testing is not a prerequisite. Testing is not required. So please, let's put this across to our public. We should stop creating unnecessary anxiety. Let's get information from accredited sources.
Why then do most vaccinated people present similar reactions as COVID-19 patients?
COVID-19 signs and symptoms, some of them resemble the one of the vaccines, right? So if you're already having signs and symptoms, you can go and test, but it is not a precondition. We just want to be sure that you do not confuse the signs and symptoms of COVID, which you have already got, with the signs and symptoms of the side effects which follow, the events which follow vaccination. So if you have no symptoms, you are going to present yourself. You'll be vaccinated. So what has killed you is not the vaccine. What has killed you is the fact that you were already infected, and infected at a time when the body has not generated the protection or the ability to fight the COVID-19 disease, because it requires 14 days.
The ministry has assured Ugandans that despite the lockdown, vaccination will continue through outreaches at most centers to avoid further spread. John Burns, Sentamo, reporting.
UBC News Tonight. Let's take a very short break. Please keep it with us.
In chess, the small one can become the big one. It's the same here. And here too. Watch every move. Record every number so you can plan better. matter the size of your dream. Tomorrow's success belongs to those who keep today's records clean. File your returns today.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Central Points when you deposit, send, and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
If we get vaccinated now, observe social distancing, wear a mask properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly. Together we can defeat this enemy.
Fellow Ugandans, you know that the current COVID-19 period is a trying time in our lives. However, we still have another threat that has been with us for a long time, and it is called neglected tropical diseases, also known as NTDs. NTDs include bilharzia and worms that cause swollen stomachs. Trachoma causes blindness, and elephantiasis causes the swelling of legs. These diseases are affecting millions globally, and yet they can be prevented by regular hand washing with soap and clean running water, regular washing of the face with a soap and clean running water, keeping dirty hands away from your eyes, always using pit latrines, and discouraging open defecation in your community to avoid flies that carry germs, reporting to the health facility early when feeling unwell. Remember to stay safe and protect yourself. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from a SEN project.
In efforts to improve quality assurance and Uganda's competitiveness as a tourist destination, Uganda Tourism Board is set to undertake a nationwide grading and classification exercise of hotel and accommodation facilities. As a member of the East African community, Uganda subscribes to the East African Grading and Classification Criteria, a system denoted by stars ranging from 1 to 5. The grading and classification exercise will be crowned by the awarding of star ratings to facilities found compliant to the EAC minimum standards. This is therefore a call to all accommodation and facility owners and managers to register and get licensed by UTB as a requirement and get ready for participation. For more information, visit www.utb.go.ug or email qualityassurance@utb.go.ug for details. Uganda Tourism Board, promoting tourism together.
Introducing to you the Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, Mbarara University of Science and Technology. We run academic programs designed to create an interface between academics, industry, and the community. We aim at offering hands-on learning experience and skills that suit continuous evolving societal needs. Join the Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies today for undergraduate training in Bachelor of Science in Planning and Community Development, Bachelor of Science in Gender and Applied Women Health, and Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Livelihoods and Farm Production. For postgraduate programs, we offer Master of Arts in Planning and Governance, Master of Arts in Development Studies, Master of Arts in Peace and Conflict Studies, Postgraduate Diploma in Criminology, and PhD in Development Studies. For inquiries, please contact us through our email dean.fis@mass.ac.ug or admissions@mass.ac.ug, or you can call the Dean directly on 078282 7777 or 0701 77 8699. Electronic applications are also available on our website, applications.mass.ac.ug. Succeed we must.
Business news tonight. Welcome back from the break. It has been a calm and quiet atmosphere in downtown Kampala as most businesses adapting to the 42 days COVID-19 scale-down guidelines issued by government recently. A tour around the city and its environ, you realize that most passenger transport terminals have turned to cargo.
During normal operations, Namaiba bus terminal is home to over 100 transporter passenger buses. But after the new COVID-19 national lockdown guidelines, the terminal now largely lies empty throughout the day.
Actually, the current state of Namaiba, there's no business at the moment, basing on to the situation in which we are. Indeed, COVID is there, it kills.
It is only cargo lorries that are moving to different destinations.
Basically, most of these cargo items you see which are coming in, most of them are vegetables, things like iris, things like onion, things like passion fruit. These are the items which are coming. But basically, things which people used to get from the markets, they no longer bring them because most of these chikubo, these arcades, these malls are already been closed. So at the moment, the turnover of the luggages which are coming up, basically they are zero.
This is one of the carrot sack which is being prepared to be packed very soon, and it will be loaded on this truck you are seeing here for departure to South Sudan. As usual, as government halted the means of transport, that is the public, many people have tried to turn around to ensure that they at least earn a living. And it is through this cargo transportation that many are hoping to at least get back home with a bread in their hands.
Another
transport industry hit by the new COVID-19 scale-down guidelines is the border industry.
They are carrying sick, they are carrying these essential workers. As the president said, they are not carrying passengers. Many of them are just loitering, looking for luggages, and luggages are nowhere to be seen because we have few markets around, and we are not licensed to carry luggages. We are only licensed to carry passengers.
With their operations only relegated to carrying cargo and sick passengers, many have opted to park their motorcycles, but with a section of outcries to government.
We have just received the money from Yoga. So we are requesting the government to officially come out and announce that they have forgiven us paying back and revolving that money because we are in lockdown. We have nowhere that we are going to get the money to return.
The 42-day ban slapped on public transport and private cars has seen bicycles increasingly becoming an immediate transport option for some people.
Baruga tusibeke wakana yatu obulwadde bakugambye boberanga ingolyawo wamu nga tutambudde mu kutambuza ku mubiri bakakukwata kate gofa bufi.
Generally, Kampala and its neighborhood is entirely calm, with a few spotted dwellers and vehicles. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Kampala.
Let's go now to sports news tonight. One member of Uganda's Olympic team has tested positive to COVID-19 on arrival in Japan ahead of the postponed Olympic Games that start on the 23rd of July. Uganda's first batch of athletes and officials to the Olympics arrived at Tokyo's Naita Airport on Saturday and immediately took the mandatory COVID-19 test. Prior to departure, the team had undergone the mandatory 2 COVID-19 tests. Unfortunately, an unnamed member tested positive and has been maintained in quarantine, while the others headed to Izumishanu, where a pre-games camp awaits. Uganda's team was led by government official David Semakula Katende and included weightlifting coach Hakim Sempedeza and 2 boxing coaches Patrick Lehande and Medi Malandi. The athletes were swimmer Atuhairi Ambala, weightlifter Julius Sechtoleko, and boxers Catherine Nanziri, Sudhir Musaboji and David Kavomasemuju. Uganda Olympic Committee President Donald Rukari has confirmed the positive test but maintains intent on safety and health of the team remains one of their paramount priorities. We pray for the team to succeed in all their endeavors in Japan. Thank you so much for watching. That brings us to the end of all we had for you at this point. Let's get back to you at 10 p.m. with a bigger arrangement. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa with Muhammad Mugalu and the whole team. Please enjoy the next program. Let's see you at 10.
Hello there, it's yet another weather edition from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. I'm Sharon Nakajiri tonight. Now taking a look at the satellite image taken over Africa today, we can see that we have moist winds from the Indian Ocean that are blowing towards our country Uganda, coupled with the moist winds from the Kong Forest. That's why tomorrow morning we are forecasting light rains along Lake Victoria and in the northern parts of the country apart from Kotido, Moroto, and in the south where we are forecasting sunny intervals. These conditions are expected to prevail even in the afternoon in the most parts of the country. Temperatures are expected to rise up to 28 degrees Celsius in Gulu, Kotido and the neighboring countries, apart from Kampala where we are forecasting 27 degrees Celsius. For Kabale Highlands we are forecasting 21 degrees Celsius. For international weather forecast, it will be bright and sunny in Dubai, temperatures rising up to 42 degrees Celsius. New York, Moscow and Nairobi we are forecasting sunny intervals. As for Hong Kong, we are forecasting cloudy conditions. Temperatures in Nairobi will rise up to 22 degrees Celsius. That nicely concludes our weather forecast today. Till tomorrow, have a great week ahead of you.